Quack, 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 quack. Pudding, 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 pudding.
Kilo Alpha Victor 371, climb immediately to 2,000 feet to avoid imminent collision. Hotel Sierra Tango 322, descend immediately to 1,000 feet to avoid collision.
Yes, you did it!
Yay!